Oh, hello there, friends. What's up, folks? I didn't see you there.
Hello, folks.
Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, episode 224 on this wonderful September 5th. Oh, Jesus Christ, I need to do that all over again. I'm an idiot. Anyways, welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from Apple Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam, and today we have with us the wonderful Bugs Bunny himself.
Hey, how duty, all of you people. Bunny of Bugs here. I'm Chad Michael Ennis. You should have heard the intro I did for the Barf episode. Actually, you probably did because I think you were watching it. But, whew, man, it was a doozy. It was not a good one either.
Hey, guess what? Let's do this one more time because I forgot to hit record on Audacity. Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast from Apple Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Adam, and today we have with us Bugs Bunny. I'm doing it again, Chad.
What's up, nurses? Can't say doc.
This
it's
is
copyrighted. Hey, I'm Chad.
This is a mess. I'm so sorry, folks. I just had orange leaf and I'm loopy. I don't know what's going on.
What is orange leaf? You mentioned that thing to me, and I thought it was like an orange that was sitting on, like, I don't know, a leaf of your table. What is orange?
No.
Is that different?
It is frozen yogurt.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So you go and you pull your own thing. They put their toppings on. So like Baskin Robbins or whatever, but it's yogurt, so it's more healthy.
No, it's
Doc.
not. It's delicious though.
It is great.
I always over top. Anytime I get frozen yogurt, it's just like a little bit of base ice cream and then just like a ton of fucking Reese's and Oreos and gummy bears in there.
It's like, sir, do you just want graham crackers? We can just give you these.
No, I want to pay $8 for a little bit of ice cream and a couple of graham crackers. That's what I want.
It's insane. You can catch us on twitch.tv/Apple Idiots, Sunday evenings at 8:30 Eastern Time, YouTube and podcast services, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be a fun show today. Now that everything's together and I'm not so loopy. Oh man, we're in for a treat, folks. Upcoming today, we have PS5 has a showcase coming up. That's really exciting. It's wild. Horizon Forbidden West and the saga that happened with that this week. Oh boy. Marvel Midnight Suns, some Alan Wake news, and Game Boy Color games coming to Switch Online.
What?
It's crazy. We'll see. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get into our main quest for the show. PlayStation 5 finally announced the PS5 PlayStation Showcase. Sony has announced PlayStation Showcase 2021, broadcast on September 9th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. The event promises to offer a sneak peek at the future of PS5 with updates from PlayStation Studios and industry-leading devs. It'll be about 40 minutes long and will show off games releasing this holiday and beyond. PSVR 2 will not be there. Sadly to say,
they explicitly called that out at the bottom of the very bottom of the blog post. By the way, next gen PlayStation's not going to be there for all of you people. Get those expectations in right up front. I love it.
Absolutely. Before we get into this more, first of all, super cool that we get it. This is basically what we were missing at E3. So yeah, Sony had the Horizon one right before, but it's like, hey, where's the big news? And here we are. They do it on their own time, and that's completely fine. Do your thing. I'm gonna let you, before we get into talking more about this, go ahead and throw this David Jaffe tweet at me as I try to get my brain together because I'm literally losing my shit right now.
So I was Holden, I guess, has become best friends with David Jaffe somehow. I don't know. And I feel like he's always texting me like, David Jaffe just said this about blah blah blah, and so he alerted me to the fact that he's tweeting about this PlayStation Showcase and how there's going to be some pretty amazing stuff there. And there's also another tweet that David Jaffe put out. He's not sure if it's going to be this specific showcase coming up, but there's a game in development this could be at there. Those are all the wrong words to say about anything. That could be at the showcase. The exact tweet is, here's a useless tweet, but if I don't say something, I will explode. Just found out about a new PlayStation game that they are making. No idea when it'll get unveiled. Maybe next week, maybe not. But just know when it does, people are going to lose their fucking mind. Badass. That, like, right there gets the hype up a little bit about, the future of PlayStation. It sounds like, just found out about a new PlayStation game they're making. It sounds like maybe a new IP that people are going to lose their minds on. But apparently the rest of it, David Jaffe, for anyone who doesn't know, is the creator of God of War, the original God of War. Hasn't worked at PlayStation for a while, but obviously still has connections there, so knows some stuff. That's got, like, when they announced the showcase, I was like, cool, we're going to see some more PlayStation stuff. Seeing David Jaffe's reaction to some of this stuff, fucking, now I'm on hype level 20 out of 10.
Oh.
And that's 200%. That's a lot of extra credit.
BBD, that's not all, folks. We're going to keep this going all night.
This is a Looney Tunes. Looney Tubes, because we can't say Looney Tunes because it's copyright. Looney Tubes episode.
My thing that I'm most excited about is that there's sort of a hierarchy. So like state of play is like, oh, it's a big deal, but it's normally a thing. Showcase is like, yo, this is the lineup probably of like the next year or so. So I think it'll be cool. I think you'll get big, cool announcements, some really cool indie stuff, updates on stuff we've seen before, but we haven't seen in a while. But, speaking of all that, we're going to go on to Adam's weekly segment. That's what we're calling it now.
Perfect. I love it.
We're going to show out guesses and hopes and dreams for what could possibly be at the PlayStation 5 showcase. So just off the dome.
Right off the top, I want to mention what you just brought up, the name, the hierarchy of the naming. Like, it's not a state of play. The last time, I did a little research on this today, and as best I could tell, the only time they've ever used the words PlayStation Showcase was during the reveal of the PlayStation 5 stuff last summer. And that showcase, I remember reacting to it and be like, that's one of the fucking best conferences, press conferences, showcases, whatever you want to call it, that I've seen in video games, period. They had a ton of shit there. Miles Morales, Demon's Souls. They had Grand Theft Auto 5 again for another generation. But
yeah,
they had Kena Bridge of Spirits, all sorts of shit that was shown off there. That, like, the fact that they're going back to that name for this specific thing, paired with sneak peek at the future of PS5 with updates, blah, 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 blah. This is my hopes and my big old hope and dream. Games, great. I hope this also means that we get some kind of new like service or software feature. I know this sounds really lame and stupid compared to a game, but I hope we get some new, like the evolution of whatever PlayStation Plus is, or the rebranding PlayStation Now and making it more useful and it's included in your membership, or something like that. Like, we're launching our Game Pass competitor. I hope we get some big announcement around PlayStation services or features, aside from just games.
That would be nice. Again, it's 40 minutes. You don't have to spend 20 minutes on it. You can spend a minute and a half. That'd be great. Like, I like the PS5. I love the games. One of my biggest gripes is I think that like the UI is hot trash. Like trying to get into voice chat and all that. Like if they're, because I know they were supposed to be doing a deal with Discord. If they announced like, oh, here's how Discord integration is going to work. That'd be fantastic, because I'd love to do that instead of what they have. Again, that would go along with what you're saying. That would be great. Just, basic UI updates, or just the Discord thing, or like I said, turning PlayStation Now into including it with PS Plus and, PS Plus Plus or something. I don't know. That'd be cool, because PlayStation Now seems interesting. I know people who like it use it, but it's never talked about. Not like Game Pass is talked about.
It's so, like, the services. I know I've been a big PS Now like apologist or supporter, whatever you want to call it. But like, the service is good. I played it when it first came out, and it was good. But now it's got over like 800 games on it. It's got a bunch of bangers. You can download shit for most of the PS4 titles as well, and like, it's good. So I would love for it to get more love and to be more useful and widely spread. Although I think we got numbers like last year sometime that said they actually make more money and have more subscribers than Game Pass does, which is super surprising to me. But I would love to have it become more of a definitive pillar of PlayStation, like Game Pass has become for Microsoft.
Yep, that would be cool. I'm going to throw one out here. This is a guess and a hope, because I think this could happen. I also need it to happen. We get it's dark and spooky, whatever, and it pulls up and it's like, oh, that's 60 frames a second. That wasn't a 30 per second trailer. And then it just shoots to a picture of the sky and a big castle, and it just says like Bloodborne PS5 update. Or Bloodborne on PC and PS5. Just give me Bloodborne that doesn't run not the best. I love that game. I want it in 4K 60, 100%. So just give me a PS5 port, up-res, whatever. Throw it on PC like they have done for a lot of the other exclusive titles, something so I can play Bloodborne in 60 frames, and I'd be super happy.
Would you be okay if they said, "Hey, Bloodborne 2, 4K 60, but if you play Bloodborne 1 on PS5 now, we've actually reduced it to 15 frames a second"? Like, would you would you be okay because you're getting Bloodborne 2, but Bloodborne's a worse experience now? Would that satisfy you?
What a move. Be like, hey, we're going to give you a new one, but we're going to hamstring the last one. I mean, I guess that'd be fine. I suppose. That's a weird caveat, but sure. Go ahead, Sony.
PlayStation, they can do anything, man. They can disappear Sean Layden off the planet for 2 years.
That guy doesn't exist anymore. So that one would be a big one for me. That would be really cool. You get any more? Just throw them out here. We'll go back and forth.
Would love to see. We got last year the announcement about, or maybe it was 2 years ago now, PlayStation Studios. Not PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation. What do they call their movie arm? I guess it's Studios, right? PlayStation Productions. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing they said they were making is Twisted Metal. I wouldn't be surprised, with David Jaffe, who I believe was also the creator of Twisted Metal, right?
I think so. That sounds right.
Being so excited for this thing and losing his marbles about it that maybe we get not only a trailer for the Twisted Metal TV show that's coming up, but also here's the game that's going to tie in or be released alongside it, and here's how it's a reboot, and it's going to be wonderful, and we, all the fuck-ups we made for the PS3 game, we're going to unfuck up. I think would be a really cool thing to do, and I think it would be a great apology for Destruction All-Stars as well. Like, that was not what we wanted to do, so here's what you want instead.
Yeah, Twisted Metal teaser, because that game probably a couple years out, but anything would be cool. Here's my idea. Look at this. Check this out.
Okay.
Partner, and I'm shooting my guns in the air like that one cowboy guy.
Not Yosemite Sam, but El Capitan Sam.
Yeah, just another park.
Yep.
So imagine this. We start, it's kind of dark or whatever, and we pull up, and it's 60 frames a second, not 30 frames a second. And it's Will Arnett in a clown costume, and that's our first tease of the TV show.
Okay. No. What if, would you be satisfied if they announce, here's Twisted Metal 2, like Lego Batman 2 with Will Arnett, but Twisted Metal 2. But we're going to re-release PS3 version of Twisted Metal with Will Arnett's voice in it at 15 frames a second on PS5. Would that satisfy you as well? That way you're getting the sequel with Will Arnett. But we don't.
That's a real Porky's paw kind of question, but I would take it because I don't care about that version of Twisted Metal. Let me get the 60 frames Will Arnett. I'm happy with it.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Go ahead.
I'm so excited about this. David Jaffe, one of the things David Jaffe was freaking out about is like it's a whole bunch of first party stuff, and they're gonna. I don't know why I didn't include this in there too, but it's like, hey, they're bringing the big guns to this next week, and it's gonna be really exciting. So we're gonna see a lot of updates from PlayStation Studios. So I am very excited. I kind of don't want. Maybe I want to dip into this a little bit. There's a question that Holden brought up that I've included that I was going to save for next week with our special guest, but I guess I'll talk about it here too because I want to see it. I would love to see Infamous again, and I know that Insomniac is making Spider-Man 2. Oh, actually, that'd be cool to show off too, Spider-Man 2. But I know that they're making Spider-Man 2, and I know that they just brought out Ratchet and Clank, but like somebody else could handle. They could give. Oh, sorry. No, it's Sucker Punch. It's a completely different studio.
It's Sucker Punch. I mean, Insomniac could do that. I mean, they won't. I mean, because again, I don't think Sucker Punch. They're making Ghosts too, so that'd be cool if somebody did something with Infamous.
Then that makes it even more believable that we could see some Infamous return because they made Ghost last year. They've had time to experiment with that using Director's Cut on PS5 to get to know the new hardware. So I think to be able to see some kind of showcase, at least a teaser trailer or something like that about the return of Sucker Punch. God, please bring back Cole because Delson was stupid. I would love to see a return from Infamous because that was such a fun freaking game that has just like completely gone off the face of the planet. And you can only play it with PS Now. There's not even like a PS4 version of Infamous games.
So you didn't like when they put rocks in his grandma's legs. You weren't a fan of that in Second Son?
And it was just like cement poisoning. That was like, okay.
That is a series I like a lot. Especially, was it Last Light was the standalone? Oh man, it was so fun.
Yeah, first light.
Or yeah, something about light. I don't know. That would be really cool. I would like to see that series come back. Probably an easy one to guess. But let's get something with Ragnarok, or confirm it's called Ragnarok, or whatever.
Sure.
I mean, again,
maybe a name.
that
It was
game's
supposed
coming
to come
out.
out this year, so like maybe a name.
Yeah,
would be
supposedly. Yeah. But yeah, any teaser, you can give me 15 seconds of seeing Big Daddy Kratos, and that would be awesome. You could end the show with that.
You can see him here now on my screen for the first time. I just hung up this new poster of old Daddy Kratos on my wall.
Hanging out in the back. So that would be really cool. Like anything from that. I also think we'll probably get another thing for Horizon, even though because what we got it, opening night live was basically just like, hey, here's 30 seconds of why it's delayed or whatever.
Right.
So they could probably do another gameplay demo of that. They might not because it's been so soon, but I think that they're going to bring everybody that they have. I mean, 40 minutes is a lot of time to fill. So, but yeah, Big Daddy Kratos for sure.
Big Daddy Kratos. I think I'm
Anything
just
else?
so excited. I'm so freaking pumped that it's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the future of PS5. It's a showcase
Third
on a
party.
state of play.
Got a question. Third party stuff. Because there's something on the bottom of our list that was rumored to probably be there. So is there any third party stuff that just like a game that you're excited for that you would like to see that could show up here?
Oh, shit. I hadn't even started thinking of third parties.
Mm-hmm. Because I heard the rumors, again, we're not to jump ahead too much, but maybe a Remedy game could be showing up here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Is there anybody else?
It is. I think it's likely. There was out and about in the rumor sphere. There was the Uncharted games. There was like a leaked image, like a promotional image of all the Uncharted games coming to Steam and Epic Games Store, with a release date of December 7th or something like that. So we might see an update to that franchise, whether it's like, yeah, we know that was the end of Nathan Drake's story, but we're continuing to invest in this franchise. Here's a title logo, as you know, is so like the thing to do nowadays is we are working on this game. Here's the title screen, and that's it. That's all we see of it. Like I could see us saying, hey, the future of Uncharted is happening. Here's the release on Steam as a way to hold you over until it's here.
Yeah, more of those games on Steam.
You said third party
or
though, and that's
PC
not
in
third
general.
party at all.
Well, it's not,
That's
but
first
still,
party, but-
I would love all their games to be on PC because, again, that's the way that I played Horizon, and it's great. Now there's a PS5 upgrade, so it's kind of on parity. But at the time when all there was the PS4 version, I'm like, PC version is where it's at.
60 frames per second in that one as well.
Yeah.
Now, what
Slowly fade up.
Would you be satisfied if they release a Game Boy Advance port at 70 frames a second,
What?
but it's at 360p? Would that satisfy you?
I think that's what the Game Boy Advance screen was anyways, so I think that's fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
70 frames. Let's go. One other thing that has been rumored, this one would be, I think people would be excited, but I would not be interested in just because of all the turmoil, quote unquote, around it, is the Last of Us Remaster, like Last of Us 1 Remaster, which
Oh, yeah.
I remember that whole story. There's just a weird story around that, or they wanted to do that because they only want to put out these kind of games, and there were people working on it. I don't know if that game's true. You know, it's weird to have a remaster, 7 years afterwards, but I mean, that could be a thing that they show. I wouldn't mind having it updated, but like a complete, like, we took people's time to make a full remake of this game that is 7 years old, to me is always weird. But people get excited. Like, if I saw it was pretty, I'd be like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
So.
I would 100% go back and play it again. And I think when that whole rumor was going around at the time too, like we talked about it, and to be able to play what are arguably some of the best games of all time on a current gen system with current gen features, like that would be, to keep those up to date, I think is worth that time commitment. I don't know if it's going to be like the rumors were like it was like a remake, like not
like
just,
RE2
not
remake,
just up-res, but like remaking the cutscenes, redoing all of this kind of stuff, like which would be quite a bit more effort. But I'd play it 100%. Would play it again.
Mm-hmm. And is there any, speaking of Last of Us, any chance we see anything about factions or whatever?
Oh, their
the
multiplayer thing?
multiplayer mode.
I don't
2.
think so. Just because they last week, they put out that press release saying, "Hey, we're ramping up hiring right now for our first standalone multiplayer thing at Naughty Dog." I don't think they've got anything to show right now because they're just staffing up for it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, you let us know what you think will be at the showcase. Maybe you'll be wrong, and then I'll take frames away from your favorite game. You like Mirror's Edge? It's 10 frames a second now. Sorry. That's
but what's the trade-off? There's something good that's got to come with the 10 frames a second, too.
Catalyst goes to 120 frames. Actually, Catalyst already might be at 120 frames a second. I think one of those games is ridiculously high. It goes at 280 frames a second for Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
I can't wait.
But one runs at 10 frames a second. So if you get your prediction wrong, be ready for that consequence.
Right. I'm ready.
Ridiculous. All right. So, like Marvin the Martian, we're going to move on to playtime.
Shut up.
Chad, tell me what you've been playing, man.
A little bit of the same. Destiny 2, back on my bullshit, new season, having a blast with it. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm updating everyone to know that it's stuck this time. I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, it's kind of like last year, broke up with The Last of Us Part 2. It ended, it was over, and this was like a rebound, a one-night stand with Ghost of Tsushima, and I never thought about it again. But a year later, I'm now 31, and I'm single, and I'm realizing my life is coming to an end shortly, and I should spend some time with a partner and people like this one. And I saw a post of theirs on Facebook, and it's like, they're doing well, and they're successful, and like, you know what, maybe I should go back to that well. And I texted it you up, and it responded. And now we've written it off, and it's much better this time, and I apologize for my past transgressions, and I'm having a great time with it. So Ghost is still going. And then Psychonauts 2. We're going to have a review discussion later this week about it. So look forward to that, everyone who's listening right now. But I'll let you know right now that I played on Friday night. This is why I missed game night, is because I wanted to make sure I got this in before our review discussion. I played about 2.5 hours of it, and then I played the rest of the game on Saturday straight through.
There you go.
And not for the reasons you think. Oh, tease, what's coming up this week? You got to tune in to find out. I have very mixed feelings about this game, and I can't wait to talk through them with you this week.
Cool.
So that's it. A lot of like regular old stuff, but
I'm glad you and Jin finally settled down.
Yeah,
that's good to see.
It's great. Things are going great. Talking kids names.
Speaking of kids' names and that big hairy red guy from Space Jam,
Clifford.
Let's talk about what I've been playing.
Clifford the big red dog. It's not.
What's his name?
The heart. The guy who's a heart.
Yeah, it looks like a heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll call him Tom Hardy.
Ooh, big hairy Hardy. I've also been playing Psychonauts 2. I don't know how far I'm into it. I'm having a good time with it though, and yeah, we'll be able to have that discussion. I'll definitely have it finished probably tonight or tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow. I feel like I'm getting close to the end because I know how long the game's supposed to be to beat, and I've put in close to that amount of hours. So we'll talk more about that. I will say it's fun so far. It's definitely wacky. It's Double Fine as fuck.
It is, yeah.
Which is their thing. And then I've also been playing a game that only PC nerds have heard of. So the best people.
Yeah, I was looking at this. So I was like, "What is this? Some new frozen yogurt thing too? Like, what is this?"
Yes, this is a new flavor of frozen custard. Playing Solasta Crown of the Magister. You're like, what is that?
It was a game. What is a Magister?
Yeah, somebody's with a crown.
It's a title or form of address given to scholars, especially those qualified to teach in medieval university.
Makes sense. So, this game had a demo on Steam last summer, I believe it was. You know, when Steam has their big, like, oh, check out the game demos, and everyone gets excited or whatever.
Yeah.
And I downloaded and played it, and they were like, this game is, they're like, we don't have the license for D&D, but we have the basic rule set, which I think is called the SRD, which is like the basic, like, the public domain version of 5th edition. Yeah, it's the
this
is basically
of D&D.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes. So it play like the combat and all that is very much this is D&D. We have some monsters. We can't name any places we can't name any characters, but it's just like our open world, and we're playing with it. So, played the demo like that a lot, and I was like, oh, then it's out now. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna pay for that. And then I was on Game Pass for PC, and it was on Game Pass for PC. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pay for it. Let's go. And yeah,
is it just a PC only game?
I believe for the moment it is. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
And you don't need much to run it. I think your Playmobil phone could probably play the game. It's not super intensive, but game is very cool. I like it a lot. Again, as a D&D guy, and yeah, they just created this original story using the mechanics and some of the monsters from D&D, and it's got like half the classes of D&D because they're the ones that are free. But it's a good time, just like a turn-based, party RPG. And I'm going through that right now.
It's like it's got that isometric dungeon crawler look, like Diablo and all them D&D games that I love, Icewind Dale and all that shit.
Mm-hmm. It's all that. So I'm playing this because I'm just waiting for them to finish Baldur's Gate 3, and then I'll go fully into that because that's actually D&D.
I completely forgot Baldur's Gate 3 was in development.
Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, I'm playing this again. It didn't cost me anything. It's a pretty solid game. It'd be like a 7. It's not the best thing ever, but I like D&D, so I'm like, I'll give you a chance. And yeah, it's pretty fun so far. I made all my my party is just the people in my actual D&D game, but they don't have all the races that we have available to us. So it's like, I'll make this dwarf red. I guess he's a goblin. Whatever. It's fine. But it's a good time. So yeah, I've been messing around with that for the past couple of days. And then yeah, I've got to finish Psychonauts 2 pretty soon. And that's basically all that I did for the whole week.
It does not look like there will be a console release of Solasta.
No, it's PC game. I wouldn't expect there to be one.
Okay. No.
If you got a PC that, again, can run Minesweeper, you could probably run it and have fun with that, people.
Dope. Steam Deck.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect Steam Deck game, for sure. All right. Just like Lola Bunny awakened us as young men and women, we're going to move on to the quest log.
Ain't that the truth, man? Space Jam and Lola Bunny.
She's so great. All right, first up, this is the one I want to get in on this. Horizon Forbidden West and the next gen upgrade debacle finally figured out. Most of this is sourced from Joe Scribbles at IGN.
Almost finally figured out. There's still a wrinkle in there that I need to know about, which reminds me I need to kind of look into it too.
Okay, this is all happened this week. So we're going to start from the beginning and we're going to go to where we are now. So at the beginning or in the middle of the week, Horizon, they showed off, like the pre-orders are live, whatever. People started noticing some weird things. All right. Forbidden West will be receiving distinct PS4 and PS5 versions of the same game. You can play the PS4 version on your PS4, but it won't have the same visual and performance upgrades as the PS5 version. Revealed on the game's FAQ page, under the headline, "Can I upgrade my PS4 version to the PS5 version?" It's revealed that the standard and special edition of the games will come with no dual entitlement, aka you don't get both versions of the game. You gotta buy either the edition that gives you both, or
which is $80.
Yeah, or you're out of luck. So that's at the beginning of the week. People sounded off, I guess, in the comment section below. People raised a fuss. And here we are now. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan announced in an updated PlayStation blog post that Horizon Forbidden West will offer PS4 PS5 upgrade path. Players that purchase the game on PS4 will also get a PS5 version at no extra cost. Ryan also announced that moving forward, all first-party PlayStation exclusives that are cross-gen will feature or offer a $10 digital upgrade path, regardless of whether or not you purchase the game digitally or physically on PS4. The upgrade path will also include sequels to the God of War game and then Gran Turismo. So basically, everything from now on that's from PlayStation, if you get it on PS4, it's $10 to upgrade to PS5. I want you to jump in before I do my thing that from a year ago, which has upset me, but you go ahead and throw your thing in that you were talking about.
I wanted to offer two things. One, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has happened. Who does this? Call of Duty did the same thing last year.
And 2K.
You had to buy, and 2K, yep. You had to buy the cross-gen bundle that was more expensive in order to get entitlement to both. But the thing that I don't know yet, that I'm trying to figure out, that now I can finally kind of look into on PlayStation, is if the PS4 version costs $60 and the PS5 version costs $70, and the PS4 version now also gets you the PS5 version, why pay $70 at all?
Because you're not paying attention.
That's what
100%. I think
that's what I think they're tricking people. So I canceled
this one.
I canceled my pre-order. I had it pre-ordered for $70, and then they announced this, and then I canceled it yesterday, and it took until, I guess, right now for it to finally register on the PlayStation Store that I still don't have it pre-ordered. So now I have the option of all three, and there's nothing in here telling me that I won't be able to upgrade it. The only thing that gives me pause is the language on the PlayStation blog. It says specifically the word "on." Like they say, customers who pre-order Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 at a later date. And what that makes me think is, like, if I pre-order it on my PlayStation 5 and not on a PS4 console. So I'm picking at it really short, because there can't be this $10 loophole. It seems wrong and like a mistake that they would have thought about or fixed. That there's a loophole where you can buy the game for $10 cheaper and get two versions. Yeah, because
I would of course I'd buy the $60 version. So my guess is that they know that there's a loophole, but they got so much backlash they're going to eat the cost for this one game, and they made sure, never again. $10 from now on, you get this one for free, or they're like, well, you didn't read the fine print, we'll see. I think this one they'll probably eat it on, just because there was so much backlash about it. And the thing, because you brought up Call of Duty and 2K, which is very fair. Like, they did not do cross-gen like a lot of games did. But those aren't PlayStation exclusives. And I'll go to this. This is a post from the PlayStation website. I believe it was like October of 2020, so before the PS5 launched. This is just an excerpt from the middle of their release statement. Additionally, we know the PS4 community will transition to PS5 at different times. We're happy to announce PS4 versions of some of our exclusives. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and for Horizon Forbidden West will also launch on PS4. While these three games were designed to take advantage of PS5 and its unique next-gen features, PS4 owners will also be able to enjoy these experiences when they launch. The PS4 digital versions of launch games include a free upgrade on both PS5 consoles, talking about the disc and discless one, while the PS4 disc version of these games include a free upgrade on the PS5 with the hard drive. So, the only reason I bring this up is because they do say launch titles, but then they also specifically name drop Horizon Forbidden West and then go on to talk about these three games.
Yeah.
So, they said specifically, we knew Horizon wasn't a launch game. The other ones were launch games. Absolutely. Of course you get them on both gens. They came out the day that the console came out. They specifically name drop Horizon. And they're like, this one is free. This is the example of things that are free.
Yep.
And then earlier this week, they're like, no, it's not free. And now they've had to backtrack. So people are mad. People are like congratulating them. It's like, that's good that they reversed it. But also, you said from the beginning that it wasn't going to cost for this stuff. So it's been a whole thing. I just want to say, as not even a console wars thing, but that smart delivery has just worked since day one. Right. No one's had to argue. It just happens. And then PC is the same thing. So like when you owned, what is that game that everyone loved, with the detective game that won all the awards last year?
LA Noire?
Last year. It came out last year. Disco Elysium.
Oh, okay.
When you own Disco Elysium on PC, they came out the director's cut, which added voiceover for everything. You just got it on PC, and that's how PC is. It's like, if there's another version, you own it already on Steam, here's the new version. Smart delivery, been the same thing. If you own it already, you get the next, unless it's Call of Duty or 2K. I'm glad that they're figuring this out. I don't mind paying a $10 upgrade fee because the game's $70, so that makes sense. But like, do what you're gonna say. Whatever. I hope it's figured out now. But the fact that they specifically said Horizon, you're going to be for free, and then they try to say, nah, you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like. Bullshit. Everything else is fine. Yeah. I wouldn't bother. It doesn't matter to me to pay $10. That's fine. But don't tell me one thing and then actually ask me to do another.
Yeah. I remember when Smart Delivery was very first announced and being so skeptical, like, because they announced it as like a very big thing. And coming to a next-gen console, smart delivery, so you don't have to worry. And I was just like, that's not a thing. I mean, it's already a thing. I go download a game on my PS4 Pro, and it gives me the 4K version of it instead of the other version. But I think you're right. Now we're a year removed from these consoles almost. And it's just like, what a beautiful thing smart delivery ended up being that we didn't even realize, because with the these different editions of things and worrying about upgrades, and then also like how to save transfer. It's fucking
God,
stupid.
download the old version, upload
two
the
versions
new version,
of the games that you can go
Jesus
in and upload through a menu to some server and then delete the game and then go to they were just, Xbox had it right, and I didn't even give them enough credit for that, because it's what a good system that was.
Yeah. We'll just say, again, I don't want to do fanboy. I know a lot of people like PlayStation in this show. I know I like Xbox. I'm just glad they got it figured out, right? Like, you're doing what you said you're going to do with this game. Good. Give us again, that's what I don't think you have to pay $10. They said it. They can't backtrack. They named it. I think you're going to get the $60 version, and you're going to get the next gen upgrade for free. I hope that works. And yeah, like, just get it straight from now on. Explain this perfectly. Our first party games are 60 on the old one, 70 on the new one, and you can upgrade for $10. Good. Now that I know what it is, we can move on with our lives. It's the confusion of like, does this one, do I have to get a director's cut? Do I got to did it? No. Here's $10. You can have the new one. Have good. Thanks. That's all I wanted. I don't want all this back and forth, not know what's going on and being left in the dark and looking at a picture on Twitter and getting mad because the prices don't match up to the consoles I have. Just Thank you.
I've officially pre-ordered the PS4 Standard Edition, so I will let you all know on my birthday next year, February 17th, whether or not I got tricked.
Like, bro, I didn't read that fine print. No, I think you'll be good. Like I said, I think they're eating it on this one because they know they messed up, which is good for us because, again, I will get the game for $60 instead of 70.
Yep.
So good times. I'm glad it's figured out. I'm just happy we can move on because, boy, that was a week of everyone writing stories about it. So here we are.
And good thing they did, though. Like, honestly, like, good thing for people for speaking up and being like, no, you said this thing, because otherwise they would have completely just gone and just wouldn't have batted an eyelash, and they would have completely just taken advantage of people, even though they promised something else. So I'm glad people spoke up.
Well, that was a tornado of a news story. Speaking of tornadoes and Tasmanian devils, we're going to move on to Marvel's Midnight Suns gameplay and system reveal. I was trying to do some Tasmanian devil. Marvel's Midnight Sun. So Marvel's Midnight Sun, the game, the Marvel strategy game from Firaxis, has a tactical card-based battle system and relationship mechanics.
Oh, I didn't see the relationship mechanics.
Absolutely. These two stories come from Ryan McCaffrey and Matt Kim of IGN, and also my own, because I watched this the minute it came out and went through it frame by frame because I'm that person. All right. So the initial gameplay reveal was a 6-minute video of narrated footage showing the tactical combat system, as well as a look as the Abby, the base for your character, the Hunter, which is a canonical character in the MCU, or Marvel now, not MCU, will build relationship with other Marvel characters in the Abby. So we got, again, gameplay of what you're doing tactically, and then it's like, hey, here's your base operations, aka the Abby, and you're hanging out and making best friends. And September 7th is the next gameplay deep dive video, so either the day that this audio release, if you're watching it now, on Tuesday, you're getting another gameplay video. This next breakdown is more about the combat system and the cards and stuff. So you didn't know anything about the relationships, huh?
For some reason, I had completely forgot that there was going to be a gameplay reveal, like an in-depth thing on IGN that they had the exclusive for. And I saw the 2-minute gameplay trailer. That's what I saw. I missed the 6-minute like deep dive into the gameplay. So this is all new to me. This is exciting.
Yes, it's cool. So there is, and also that September 7th video, I believe, is a fight against Sabretooth, so that'll be a fun time. Ooh. But so the way that the Abby stuff works, and this is just Adam now, not reading anything. The way that the Abby stuff works is it's your base operation. So if you play XCOM, it's your helicarrier, and XCOM 2, like you have a base, and that's where all the superheroes hang out. Miss Marvel's over here playing basketball against Iron Man or whatever, and you go in there, and there's things you can unlock. That's where you do upgrades, and you talk to other characters and you build relationships, and you get like friend points or whatever you want to call it. You build your relationship with heroes, and then when you take them out on,
Is this kind of like Mass Effect style, like where you have all your side characters that you talk to on the ship, and you can romance them, or you can build up and do their quests?
They did say that there's no romance. They said you can be very, very, very good friends, but you cannot smoochy the other Marvel characters, which I'm sure that Disney would not be happy about. But you become, you build your relationship up. You're like, help them out, do whatever, talk to them, be friends with them. And then when you take them out on missions, they are more powerful, and you have special team up moves based on your relationship with the character. So it's like, yo, I always bring Blade with me. Me and Blade are wrecking shop over here because we got little combos and we're living our life. So yeah, it's like, it's your little social space. You walk around, you can find little hidden stuff, run missions out of there, whatever. It's your cool base where you get to talk to all your Marvel friends. So that is the, like your main hangout spot in the game. It's called the Abbey. It's like an old church.
And so this hunter character that you're like customizing and is your character that you're creating. That is the person you're playing with. Everyone else is like friends that you're bringing with you. It's not not Marvel Ultimate Alliance style where like you can just mix up any characters and control any of them. Like you are the hunter and you bring your friends, right? Yeah.
So from what I see, it's you always have a team of 3. From what we've seen so far, there's teams of 3. So you always have the hunter, and then you bring 2 people with you, and then of course you're controlling them in battle and telling them what to do and such. Sure. But like, you are the main character. The hunter is the main character, who is either the son or the daughter of Lilith, who's the main bad guy, which is just the mother of demons. Whatever, you're fighting demons. It's a Justice League Dark, but Marvel. So yeah, you are the hunter, and then you bring your 2 teammates with you to do some battles.
Is Hunter? Now I know it's canon, and it was created with Marvel, like associated with, and it's this new character in there. I'm really, I know you don't have the answer to this, but I'm really curious how they're going to do this where like it's such a highly customizable character. How is that also canon? Like if I can customize whether it's male or female or whether it's, I guess there are male and female versions of most superheroes anyway now, but. Yeah.
So from my understanding is that, so you're a child of the bad guy or the bad girl, whatever, of the main story. She has multiple, like I believe in canon, she has multiple children. So you're just one of her children.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter, you're male or female. And then I think your power set, you can change a little bit, but I think you are a demon spawn. So you're, regardless of what you look like or whatever your gender may be or your sex may be or whatever, you're going to fill the same role as, I got swords and magic and we're killing demons. So I don't think it'll really matter necessarily.
Cool.
We'll see. People were a little worried about this, and I've got my own thoughts on it, but Marvel Midnight Suns has a card system, no loot boxes. And this is the part from Matt Kim. Combat in Midnight Suns involves picking 3 heroes and using a deck of random ability cards. Your abilities are tied to these cards, and because each hand is random at start of battle, you'll have to think strategically to get results. Cards can also be upgraded as you progress through the game. Coordinate team attacks if you have the right heroes with you. Improving your relationship with these characters during social segments will improve your tag team abilities, like I was saying. Make best friends, hang out with Blade a lot, and he'll hit stuff better for you. The developers have confirmed there are no loot boxes in Midnight Suns or any microtransactions involved with the card system. You'll be able to buy cosmetics, but there's no gameplay balance issues. If you want to buy a cool costume, you can buy a cool costume. Midnight Suns creative director Jake Solomon also responded to concerns from players, telling IGN, "We knew we were swimming in the deep waters with this one. However, Solomon says the card system is easily as tactical as XCOM, though he understands confusion." So, again, I'm ready for Tuesday. They're like, people are like, cards? That's stupid. I don't like cards. And he's like, hey, we know we know how to make tactical games. We know it's confusing, maybe. We promise you it's going to work. So, this is now my thoughts on this. So, watching through the gameplay, and I enjoy these Firaxis, and I also enjoy just like all strategy games. The way that the card system, it reminds me of in Fire Emblem 3 Houses, where you have either, tomes for casting spells or you have combat arts. All your stuff is limited and you're using that resource. And then when the mission's over, you go refuel your resource. So it reminds me of that, because it's like you can't just do your power attack in Fire Emblem over and over and over again. You run out. You have a certain amount of them. Like you only have a certain amount of aces in a deck, kind of a thing. And also, it just reminds me kind of, so it's like, think of Fire Emblem, but if you had Slay the Spire instead of combat arts / weapon degradation. So it's like, I've got 3 super punches and I'm going to do my tactical stuff, and I got to be smart about using my super punches because I only got 3 of them or whatever. So to me, it doesn't look like a card battler like people are saying. It reminds me of a mix of they're using cards to fuel tactics-based gameplay. So I think it's fine, but we'll see more. Well, I'm super hyped for the game. So
these cards, again, since I missed this week when it was shown off, these cards are less of like a Magic the Gathering, or a Hearthstone. Like, this is a cool ability that like affects the way that the game is played, or like these things are, and they are more like consumable uses of skills that you've powered up, right?
From my
you
understanding,
get to shoot
yeah.
now 3 fireballs this match, and it's random how many fireballs you get, or you can use a
Based on your
Berserker
deck or your
Barrage
hands.
5 times this time, but next time it might only be 1 because there was only 1 of those cards in the deck, or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
It seems more like less like I'm drawing random. Like, yeah, I'm not playing Magic. Like, oh, I didn't draw the right cards. I can't do anything. It's just like, hey, here's some abilities. We're gonna give these to you. Figure out how to use them. You know.
Okay.
Your weapon's about to break. What do you know? Just like Fire Emblem, it's like, oh, I've only got one more hit with the God Whip or whatever it's called. So that's what I've seen. Again, we'll see more in gameplay, but just the way that I read it, it reminds me more of Slay the Spire, where it's like, yo, here's a hand. You need to play your cards. And have you played Slay the Spire?
No.
First of all, it's fantastic. You need to play the game. The game's actually amazing. Everyone I thought they were overhyping it. The game's great, but it's like, yo, here's your hand, and you have 3 moves you can do. You know. And it's like, use your cards, and they have like a point value, and you need to have play the best hand you can, and then you get new cards, and that's how you like do combat in the game. So if they do a mix of those, I think it'll be just fine. Again, because Slay the Spire is a beloved game, and people love Fire Emblem and tactics games, so I'm not worried about it. People were worried about microtransactions. Okay, I can understand that, but they said it's not. I'm excited for it. I'm just going to defend it. Doesn't matter what they do.
I've got to admit, the card thing has me more interested in this game. Like, when I found out it was like a tactics game, I texted like a group chat with some people and just like, fuck, it's a tactics game, because that's not my jam at all. Like, it looks really cool from the CG trailer, but it's like, it's a tactics game. But then, like, as I mentioned last week, Mario Rabbids was the right property to bring me into that type of gameplay, and then like the cards thing actually has me intrigued, and it adds a new wrinkle of randomness to it. Whereas, with Mario Rabbids, I could think, all right, who am I bringing and how are they going to play off of each other? It's like, I don't know. I could be going into this completely blind, and something that I could have never guessed happens because of the random cards that I'm dealt that round. Like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Again, I'm clearly a fanboy of the material and of the developer, so I'm just hoping for the best. And based on what I see, I like it. We'll see more, but I'm not worried about the card stuff. Some people were turned off by that. I'm like, nah, it makes more sense because it's not XCOM. Not everyone has a gun. You don't just get behind cover and shoot guns. So we'll see. I'm going to watch the video on Tuesday. We'll have a good time.
Dope.
I can't think of one right now. Moving on. No Loopy Tunes transition this time. Alan Wake Remaster rumors. This is from Georging at GameSpot, and mostly from Wario64, because he's where everyone is pulling the news from. Taiwanese retailer Rakuten, remember all those commercials? God, couldn't get away from those forever. Have listed Remedy Entertainment's Alan Wake Remaster for PS4, PS5, and Xbox on its website. Listing says it will launch October 5th. Games industry analyst Daniel Ahmed has corroborated the leak, saying that the official announcement for Alan Wake Remastered is due this upcoming week. Possible it could be at that PlayStation showcase we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is just for me. I'll go ahead.
That's interesting because if this is true, this is the first time that game's available on PlayStation systems.
Yep,
so
it's only been on PC and Xbox.
Sense that it would be, a partnership with Remedy. Because Control being on there and did so well on that system, and like it makes sense that would be shown off on Thursday if it's coming.
Yep, and I believe that they own the IP, so they can do whatever they want with it, and more people should play Alan Wake. Especially a remaster version would be nice, because I love the game. It is an old game, so a remaster version would be cool. And then this is just me. Can I get a remaster of the DLCs and American Nightmare as well? Let me just play the whole thing. I love this series. I love these game and the DLC and the downloadable game, which is American Nightmare. So yeah, a remaster, that'd be great. I think Remedy's is like on that. People are really excited after Control. So I think it'd be like, hey, we also did this. Play it on your PlayStation. And people are like, oh, awesome. Let me play.
I'm very excited to whatever Remedy does now after Control. Again, my game of the year 2019. And I enjoyed the Alan Wake tie-ins with the newest DLC for Control. And infamously, when we played Alan Wake for Barf, it was literally one of my least favorite games I've ever played in my life. But if they were to remaster this and like Resident Evil 2 style remaster and like maybe cast different actors and rewrite the dialogue, that would then make me enjoy this a lot more. So there's a version of this that I can get excited about. Otherwise, though, I'm just happy for people to have your thing.
Yep.
Go.
And October 5th, perfect time for Spoopy.
Spoopy, yeah, Spoopy Octobers.
So that'll be cool. Thank you, Wario64, for letting me know when there's a sale on Amazon and when a game is coming out, apparently, as well.
Right. I honestly, I start thinking about Wario64 sometimes, and like, I start thinking about how publishers and Jeff Keighley, I'm sure that they have to get, like, they probably say, all right, we have to think about how do we send a press release blast? How do we get things on IGN? How do we do a reveal trailer? And how do we get Wario64 to tweet about it? Like, he has to be in that consideration. Because
absolutely.
Even during the things, like he has pre-order links and all of these things available, like immediately, I'm sure he has to set those up ahead of time to go and tweet. He's an essential part of the video game industry.
He is. I guess shout out to him again for taking the name Wario64 and legitimately, like when the new consoles were coming out, it's like, yo, look at Wario, and that's how you're gonna get your stuff. One critique I'll give Wario, if you would have went for Waluigi 64, I would have gave you more. I would have appreciated you a little more, but your name works, so I'm not going to give you too much guff. Speaking of working and Foghorn Leghorn, he works.
There you go. Okay.
THQ Nordic has a showcase coming up. This is from Darren at GameSpot. I'm very bad with last names, and I cannot.
Bonthuys.
Sorry, Darren, if you're watching. Yeah, from GameSpot. To celebrate its 10th anniversary, a video game publisher... 10 years of THQ Nordic, really?
Yeah.
Wild. Video game publisher THQ Nordic will be hosting a digital showcase event on September... Can you look that up for me? I somehow didn't copy the number after September.
I have it in my calendar, actually. But if I bring up my calendar on my Mac, then it's going to replace your face in our stream.
I'll keep reading. We'll know the day in a second. I know it's very soon. Hosted by the Game Awards executive producer Jeff Keighley, and will feature 6 new game announcements.
Friday the 17th.
September 17th. There we go. THQ Nordic didn't reveal exactly all the games that will be featured during the event, but it did tease the return of a legendary franchise. This one is apparently one that for our fans have been waiting decades to get their hands on. It's just me now. A lot of people have been rumoring Time Splitters because they hired the guy who made Time Splitters like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago at this point. The company also owns IP such as Metro, Red Faction, Darksiders, Kingdoms of Amalur. They own like everything. They own every AA game ever made.
Like hundreds of IPs now. Hundreds of AA IPs. And I just looked it up. They have 16 development studios. For comparison, Xbox has 15, which now includes Bethesda, which is already its own handful of them. But like that's
THQ
Microsoft
Nordic
now has 23 if you include Bethesda.
Yeah, they're still for THQ Nordic for what that company is and they're just a company that just kept buying stuff. They're like those dudes who like trade in penny stocks. They're like, let's just get all the small stuff. Let's just gobble this all up and make an empire. So THQ Nordic it's in that weird spot where it's like, again, a lot of stuff's AA, but a lot of the stuff's really cool and has nostalgia with it. So we know we're getting 6 new game announcements. Do you have an idea? I think Time Splitters is 100%. I have a few more ideas.
Playing Monkey Mode multiplayer on Time Splitters was a freaking blast. And setting people on fire, that was great.
Yeah. I remember shooting water barrels at different levels because the water would only leak out to the level that the bullet hole was at. So if you shot at the top, it would leak. And then you shot at bottom, it would leak. But if you shot in the middle after that, it wouldn't leak anymore. I was like, ooh, Time Splitters, you're doing big stuff over here.
Yeah. I am one of those people that loved the short amount of time on PlayStation 3 that I played Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Yeah.
Because I loved the feel of the combat. Like I remember the experience. I haven't gone back and played it since, but I remember the experience the same way that I remember the first time I threw and recalled the Leviathan Axe in God of War 2018. Like I remember hitting things and feeling powerful and the shake of the screen and all of that in the combat of that game. But apparently the remaster didn't do so well. So I doubt we're going to see more from that, but that would be like if they released a good version with those combat mechanics. I don't give a damn if it's written by, what's his face from NetherRealms? Not NetherRealms.
Salvatore.
Yeah, Salvatore.
R.A. Salvatore. Whatever. Yeah. Old fantasy boy.
what is that? What is his? Not NetherRealm. Forgotten Realms.
Oh yeah, D&D.
Yeah, D&D.
Forgotten Realms. Yeah.
He wrote D&D stuff.
I loved King of the Island when it came out. At the time, it was great. I was like, oh, this is Dragon Age, but different. And I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
For me, I played the remaster of the first one a couple months ago. They threw it up on Game Pass eventually. But Destroy All Humans was a game I really liked as a youth. And they only remastered the first one. I believe there's 2 or 3 more games in that series. Go ahead and give me another one of those. It's fun to... I love at the beginning of the game, they're like, this game is old. We remastered it shot for shot. If there's humor that doesn't age well, we're sorry. That's a pretty funny thing to put in the game. But yeah, that'd be cool. Just give me more, again, remaster these nostalgia games. Give me a SpongeBob,
These feel like the perfect...
Whatever.
Like, if they came out and they showed off all these new things, and at the very end of it, they're like, all of these coming to Xbox Game Pass. And I'd be like, that sounds like the THQ Nordic is the perfect Game Pass publishing thing. Like, all of their games are the types of thing that I don't know if I want to buy this, but I will download it and play it or stream it on Game Pass, and it will be totally cool to play Red Faction or Darksiders or something like that for the first time.
Most of their games do. I mean, Metro... I think Darksiders was there. That's also Games with Gold. A new Darksiders, it's a little early for that. That would be cool. Red Faction reboot. I don't know how you do that now and have people care still, but that was really cool in the day. Maybe that'd be a new Red Faction might not be too bad of a thing to do. But Metro, people really like Metro. I've tried. It's okay for me. But some people love that. It's whatever to me. It's very whatever to me. I think Hold liked it, like a decent amount.
Holden fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But it was jank as hell, and I couldn't get past it. You will learn, even in our Psychonauts too, like there are some presentation type things in video games that like if something about it is wrong, like Dishonored. I'm sure Dishonored's great, but their hands are bigger than their faces, and I couldn't play the game because of it. Like little things like that I'm really nitpicky about. No, I didn't even try to.
Okay, one feels a little weird. 2 is actually basically a perfect video game, so you should play 2. It doesn't have big hands. So yeah, this will be fun. This will be full of announcements. They're like, that's cool, and games that I'll either get on sale or on Game Pass for free, or whatever one day. It's cool to see. Time Splitters I might actually be interested in. Speaking of Time Splitters and Tweety Bird, Game Boy and Game Boy Color is coming to Switch Online? ? Us from what should I stop with the Looney Tunes, because it's not good.
The thing is, they started kind of clever or like little twists, and now you're just naming them.
I'm forgetting how many there are. It's like Granny is next, and then there's like the cat,
Speedy Gonzales, Sylvester, then the sexist cat too. What's his name? Or the sexist skunk, Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew. Yeah. I just watched Space Jam like 3 weeks ago.
If we say these all out loud right now, you can't use them for transitions later.
I'm done with it. I'm done with the transitions. Okay. Game Boy and Game Boy Color games coming in Nintendo Switch Online from Wesley LeBlanc at IGN.com. A new report claims that Nintendo is going to add Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to Nintendo Switch Online service. Nintendo Life reported earlier this week that Nate, the Hate podcast host, Nate Drake, revealed that Nintendo might be adding Game Boy and Game Boy Color games to its online catalog. Publication confirmed it with its own sources, adding the games could be coming really soon. And Eurogamer also revealed that its sources say games from other retro platforms are on the table as well, as also confirming the Game Boy Color rumors. So we're getting it from Nintendo Life, Eurogamer, and private sources that this is confirmed and it's going to happen. So, are you excited? I was talking to Holden about this on game night, and he's like, yeah, there's like 5 Game Boy Color games that would be really interesting to play again now. But I think you just need to put those games on the system, because Nintendo Switch Online honestly hasn't put out a good game for like a year. Right? They're always adding like it's Knights and Hats 2 from 1989. It's just like, what are we doing here? Because they started so strong, and then it's just been awful.
I saw a retweet that I think Alex Cozy retweeted it or something like that, but it was just like, I'm so excited for the future of Game Boy Color games on Nintendo Switch Online, and it showed 3 games from the Game Boy game like that no one fucking gives any shit about, and it's like, and you get an update once every 3 months. You'll get 3 games you don't give a shit about, and so yeah, I'm not excited about this in the least. Because the games, I mean, there are games that I love on that platform, like we just mentioned during Barf right before this, like Wario Land 3 would be cool to play. Dragon Warrior 3 is really cool, which is getting remastered. It's going to look beautiful. The Pokemon games, like there's
which
a bunch
wouldn't be
of
on
shit,
there.
which they would release those standalone. Those would not be free included in the service. But also, like, there are other ways to play those games. I'm actually, for some reason, collecting cartridges of these things too. So if I and playing them on real Game Boys, or hopefully upcoming if I can get a analog pocket. But like, for some, the Nintendo Switch Online service itself does not interest me, and I have literally not opened it one time for the NES games or the Super NES games, because whatever they release there is either shit, or I already have it on my SNES Classic or my NES Classic or somewhere else.
Yeah. I think the only thing, Tetris would be cool just because that game's classic and lasts forever. There have been new versions of Tetris though, so that's not like, Connected is probably better. The only thing that interests me, again, because there's so little you can put on there that would make me care. It's good to put them on there. I think like nothing's wrong with giving people more options. The Eurogamer report saying that other retro platforms are on the table as well. So I'm like, hey, get Game Boy and Game Boy Color out the way, and let's move on to like Advanced, because there's some good stuff on Advanced. Let's move on to GameCube. Let's move on to I don't know when or if that'll ever happen, but that'd be cool.
If it took, what was it, 2 years for them to go to NES to SNES, or maybe it was 18 months or something like that, to finally start adding SNES titles. And then now it's taken another 2 years in order to get Game Boy Color games. We're not going to see GBA, let alone GameCube or not Dreamcast, but anything else Nintendo related for a very long time, if at all.
It'll probably be Switch 2 stuff if that happens. I'm with you, but that would be cool. There's a really good GBA Advanced has really cool games that I would actually be interested in playing.
Oh, hell yeah.
More than the Game Boy Color. I had all these systems as a kid, and I'm just like looking back and like that wouldn't interest me. Game Boy Advance though, all those Castlevania games, really good.
Yeah.
So it's basically confirmed. We'll wait for it to happen, and then I will still not open the app.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do here. Play Tetris Effect Connected. The game's actually perfect. All right, our second to last story. No Looney Tunes in this one. Dead Space Remake. They had a showcase with the developers, and we've got impressions. It comes from Matt Kim at IGN, who's putting in all the work this week. So I actually watched parts of this. I didn't watch the whole thing live, but I did watch snippets and stuff of this Dead Space remake. Massive visual upgrades. They had side-by-side comparisons, and it's like, yo, it's basically the RE2 remake reveal, when it's like, yo, this slaps. This is awesome.
So sexy.
Motive has added a new damage system called peeling, where you can literally shoot the flesh off the necromorphs to reveal their bones and guts. You can peel a necromorph's leg to see the thigh bone, or the head to see the skull. Some weapons will be better for peeling, while others will dismember limbs outright. I believe they said it's similar to Isaac's. Yeah, they said it's like Isaac's, like, hey, the back of his body, his spine is your health bar.
Yeah.
Like showing it visually, but not in a heads-up display. It's like they also have the same thing, and you're knocking the flesh off the bone.
Yeah, the way that they demoed this and showed this, and they had like just like the necromorph character model, and then they had the box of like where your gun would shoot it. And then they were just like panning it around the body, and you could see the flesh starting to peel away and the bone underneath and all of it. And to see the level of detail, no matter where it is on the body, and it's completely different no matter where you hit it, was just astounding to me. And to think back on the original, and they're all their polygonal forms, and you just like amputate one of them and some blood squirts out, to then go to this and seeing layers of muscle and flesh get burned off in different amounts depending on whether it's in the center of the shot or on the edge of the shot. Fucking wild, man. That got me so excited.
Looks great.
I
love that this is next gen only. God, I love it's next gen only. Don't hold it back at all. Let's have fun. This again reminds me a lot of RE2 Remake, when it's like, your bullets, like you shoot them through the cheek and you'll see like the bullet wound come in and out, and it's like, let's do it, because necromorphs are so much more gnarly than zombies, just because of they're already like body horror, the Thing monsters as it is. So let's have.
They also mentioned that like you can cut a bone using like something like a plasma cutter or something like that. You can cut a bone, but then the limb will still just be hanging off by the skin. So it'll just kind of be dangling there, and fucking wild. I love it. I love it so much.
That's gonna be great. For the remake, Gunnar Wright, which, by the way, best name ever for a voice actor, Gunnar Wright, will return and Isaac will have more voice lines. Yeah, he basically didn't talk at all in the first one. They're like, he's not going to be a chatty Cathy, but we will give him some lines when the context makes sense. So it's cool that they have him back to talk. That's cool. Moto was adamant that it will keep many of the same features of the original game, like pacing, while improving areas that might have dated. And this is showing off, I think they were showing like the game originally was designed to have this extra corridor, but because of processing power, we couldn't have it. So that corridor is there now. Things like that. But they're trying to keep it very much like true to the original, but making it better.
What's interesting about this is that with the pacing specifically, I'm curious how they end up doing this because of they're doing the single shot thing that God of War did, where the whole thing is a single shot without any breaks. But they're also, like in the original game, that's how the end of a chapter was you get to the train, you zoom off into the next area, there's a loading screen, and that's how you know you were getting to the end of something, and there was that big break. And I'm curious how that ends up like pacing wise working out now that it's all one thing, and there might not be these trains taking you places. You might just go there.
Also, that I believe, I don't know if this was 2 or maybe it was a 3 thing, but didn't the big first letter of all the chapters spell out something about like Sarah is dead or whatever it was?
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't remember if it was that game or not, but there's a thing where the first letters spell out something about the game. So that's a thing. Everyone pay attention to that. You look that up for me while we're doing that.
I'm looking at it right now.
And the last thing, they took a look at the zero-G therapy room. Motive revealed that it improved the physics and added 360-degree movement and thrusters. So basically, they took the zero-G parts from 2 and 3 and put it in 1 instead of just like the weird point-to-point. You can actually like free flow in zero gravity. There will be some fine-tuning of the story that will make Isaac's adventure on the Ishimura connect more with the other games. So the lore is going to be a little bit more in depth for what actually happens. And that was, it looks really good. I'm really excited for that game.
Me too. I'm not. I will confirm that yes, Dead Space is the franchise. It is Dead Space 1 that happens, but I will not tell you what it says because it's a spoiler for Dead Space 1. So, and I don't want to spoil that for people now that it's coming out again. But that's really cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
I think all 3 do that. But the first one, you're like, oh, wow, pay attention. That's actually, okay, cool. That's cool. Let's go. Dead Space, next gen only. I'll let you take this last one because, boy, it's a doozy. And
yeah. So this is something that just came out earlier today. No, September 4th. So yesterday, the original tweet came out that this is all this hubbub is around, and it's much more political. But it's something that we've covered on the podcast before. Not something that we've gotten political on the podcast before. But I just thought it's a big thing that's happening in the industry, so I wanted to cover it. By at least just letting people know it exists, if not, having a discussion about it. Twitter. This is all happening on Twitter. There's a gentleman named John Gibson, who is the president of, I've now lost the
Tripwire.
name. Tripwire. Is the president of Tripwire. Tweeted out, proud of the U.S. Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. As an entertainer, I don't get political often. Yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. So that was the tweet that started the fire. And people like Cory Barlog is right here as like the first reply on it you see that is just like, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? And then Jason Schreier has retweeted a couple of things today. I'll read that says, the president of Tripwire Interactive, publisher of this year's popular game Chivalry 2, speaks out in favor of a recent Texas law that bans abortions after 6 weeks and offers a $10,000 bounty to any citizen who sues someone performing abortions or assisting with the process. It's important to note that your feelings on abortion and whatever it is and how you choose to support either side are your own. If you are curious about the types of games this person and their company creates, it is probably not something that you're super into or play, but Chivalry is one of them. There's another big one.
Maneater,
the shark game, is something that I was like, well, I will not support Maneater anymore. Or I know I got it free for PlayStation 5, but now I'm definitely not going to play it. But yeah, Maneater is like the biggest one that you've probably only heard of. That
Maneater and Killing Floor 2, I think, are the big ones.
Killing Floor, yes, the whole Killing Floor series, actually. But I think what's interesting to note is that like that has had some repercussions on not just that person, but the entire studio. So Shipwright Studios is a work for hire developer, so they help out other developers with like contracting positions, help them finish games and stuff like that. They contributed 2 games, Chivalry 2 and Maneater. Says it's canceling all contracts with Tripwire, and they put out this statement as a response to him. While your politics are your own, the moment you make them a matter of public discourse, you entangle all of those working for and with you. We have worked closely alongside the talented and passionate developers at Tripwire and your partners for the last 3+ years. We know it is difficult for employees to speak up or act out in these scenarios, and they may not feel comfortable to speak their minds. It is regrettable, but we feel it would be doing ourselves, your employees, your partners, and the industry as a whole a disservice to allow this pattern to continue without comment. We started Shipwright with the idea that it is finally time to put our money where our mouth is. We started Shipwright with the idea that it was finally time to put our money where our mouth is. We cannot in good conscience continue to work with Tripwire under the current leadership structure. We will begin the cancellation of our existing contracts effective immediately. So again, that was 3 hours ago that Jason Schreier tweeted that. It's developing. I just wanted to bring it up on the show because it's like, it's wild. The day and time that we live in now, that you can go from having an idea, and now that has impacted not only you and your professional life, but the entire company that you work for. Like, you got to use your social media responsibly. And I agree with what Shipwrecked said. Was that the name of it again? Shipwrecked? Shipwright. What Shipwright said is like, you can have your opinions, but then as the president of a company, whenever you make it public discourse and putting this out there, like, it's a lot of responsibility that you've now, a lot of repercussions you've brought onto your company and the people that work there because you decided that you wanted to put out an idea on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's the thing that it's, you're saying like you're not going to support that games and all this stuff, which is very valid. But it's like it's the same thing we have with Activision, where it's like, hey, those people working there probably don't have the same opinion, or maybe they do, but they're not on Twitter talking about it. Again, I think you're allowed to believe whatever you want. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. But it's when you bring it down on the people that you're working with. So again, like freedom of speech, absolutely, but it's not freedom from consequences. So like I kind of see where his point is, where he's like, oh, because again, it's very true. Everyone in the industry normally leans that way, where they're like super against it, and they talk about it on Twitter all the time. And he's the opposite, but I'm like, those people are also not free from consequences. They're just not getting them because a lot of people in that industry kind of agree that way, which is fine. That's how the industry works. But it's like, yeah, you're allowed to say this, but if you don't want to possibly worry about consequences, just keep it to yourself and tell your friends and family. Again, I think he's allowed to believe whatever he wants. Getting in trouble for saying anything on Twitter, that's the world we live in. So it sucks for those people there. But it's like, yeah, you probably knew something was going to happen. He just wanted to throw it out there. Because like, there's plenty of stuff I just keep to myself. It's like, why start anything? It doesn't matter that much. But yeah, he made a decision that now hurts everyone at that company, because he literally in that tweet went after the other people in the industry for not agreeing onto his viewpoint. And it's like, you knew someone was going to come back at you with this, and you just did it on purpose. It's wild.
I think you're right that like the industry and like if you were a conservative Republican senator and you said something like this, no one's gonna fucking think twice or say anything, because of course you think that, and of course that's what we would expect you to say. But
you're a politician. Yeah, it's fine. That's what this is. You're literally, these are the people you're talking to. That's fine.
You are paid because people agree with your values and they have elected you to that position. But whenever you think about like, I'm in the gaming industry, I'm in tech, which generally tends to be, leans a little bit left, if not a lot left, especially in the arts parts of it. You got to consider your audience, man. That's like, if you wanted to, maybe if you worked closely with, I don't know, the NRA and maybe gun manufacturers and things like that, and you wanted to say something that leans a little bit more right, you probably wouldn't get called out on that kind of stuff. But when you say something that's controversial and the opposite of all of these things, like, there's going to be consequences. And I like what you said. It's freedom from freedom of speech, not freedom from consequences. Consequences, yeah.
So he know your audience, man. If he just didn't call them out, it would have been fine. If he believed that and maybe posted it on Facebook or whatever, it's like, oh, I agree, and but you got to be more. Again, not even. It doesn't bother me what he said. It's just that how unaware he was of how this was going to turn out, because he literally called the people out that everyone agrees like this, but I'm going to say this. It's like, you already know Jason Schreier's coming for you. You already know. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
it's wild.
So we'll see if any more shit comes from that storm.
That'll be fun for next couple of days to pay attention to what happens with those. And like I said with the Activision, it's like, if you don't want to play their games, completely fine. That's your prerogative. But there are more people working at the company than him, so you can make that choice and maybe not feel so guilty if you think about those other people. But again, we'll see. We'll know in a week or two how this company turns out. That's it for the news. Yeebity, that's all, folks.
Let's move on to Game on Game Show. The Game on our Game Show, we play a game called Game On, the gaming show on our game show. Game. All right, Adam. We've got a returning favorite. It's a game called Now Flesh It Out, where we take two games, mash them together, figure out what the resulting product might look like. We've got 3 pairs of games to talk about.
Is there a Space Jam game in there by any chance?
There is not. There could be, possibly, depending on how we want to take these properties. The trend or the pattern with these 3 pairs of games is that one of them is a game that was shown off at last year's PlayStation 5 showcase.
I like
that's
this.
coming up this Thursday. So these are some of the big things that we can see or expect. Or sorry, big things in comparison. Like, this was shown off last year. How does it mash up with another game? So I'll go through our pairs here. Our first one is Bug Snacks crossed with Roller Coaster Tycoon. What would the resulting game look like? We mashed Bug Snacks and Roller Coaster Tycoon together.
You would make a theme park that is or a zoo that is completely predicated on bugs mixed with food, of course. So think about, in Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're like, I've got to make these rides that the people enjoy for money, but you're making a park that people are like, am I happy eating this caterpillar that's made out of gummy bears or whatever it is? So you're literally making a park so people can go eat animals.
So it's like a zoo you can eat.
Yes, it is a zoo tycoon you can eat.
So it's like you walk around a zoo and Red Lobster style, or like not Red Lobster, but fancy seafood restaurant, and you point at the lobster like, I want to eat that one. You go to the lion cage and you're like, that one, please. And they're like, great. And somebody walks in there with a butcher's cleaver, and
it is a park management sim where you have to let people build environments and rides and things for people to kill food animals and enjoy themselves and come back. You got to make sure there's bathrooms everywhere. That's part of the happiness. You got to make sure the line queues are good. And, when people are going in there hunting their hamburger koalas, that they're having a good time.
I freaking love that. I'm sure there's a Sims mod out there that lets you do that, or a Zoo Tycoon mod out there on PC somewhere that lets you fucking just eat the animals. That was my favorite part of SimCity, was building up the city and then just choosing how you want to fucking destroy it.
Disaster. Yep. Like 8 tornadoes at once, please.
This next one could be fun. Stray, the kitty cat game, mixed with Alien Isolation.
Oh, God. That'll be... Okay. So imagine we're coming up. It's a dark room. We're pointing forward. It's 60 frames a second. It's not 30 frames a second. You are a person, first person game. Of course, You enter an old lady's mansion, right? It's like a hoarder's house. And you get locked in, and you've got, 4 hours until the security alarms deactivate and the police come and help you or whatever. And the whole time you're being hunted by house cat. Just a normal house cat, but it murders you if it finds you. So think of a Five Nights at Freddy alien or whatever, but you're in an old hoarder lady's house, and it's house cats hunting you down.
That sounds fucking terrifying. And like power's out, and like you're walking around upstairs, and the cat's just walking on the shelf of shit, the knickknacks, and like a vase falls over, and you're just like, and you look back and it's gone. And she's like, oh my, that would be terrifying.
Purring coming from the vents.
Oh my God.
I like this.
I love the setting that it's like an old lady's house too.
Yeah.
Because it's
I was
full
thinking
of breakable shit and spooky
Yeah,
shit.
I was thinking specifically. I saw this episode of Hoarders where this old lady had legitimately like a mansion. She like had a business and bought it, and then but she hoarded all her stuff in it. So, but she legitimately had like 15 rooms in her house, kind of shit. But yeah, you're just in her house, and there's cats everywhere. You're like, oh, I gotta hide under all these old petticoats so the cats don't get me or whatever. And then like you're looking out and like you hear purring, and then you see little feet walking by, and then if you breathe too loud into your microphone, they jump on you and get you.
I fucking
Slash your throat.
Slash your throat. Cats are fucking terrifying, man.
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
eat your
realize
dead
this
body.
when I paired these two together, but I guess like you literally could play Alien. You could play the cat from Alien going around the ship.
That cat is such an asshole. I watched that movie recently. He's an ass. He watches old dude get murdered.
Yeah.
The first
he
guy
doesn't do
who ever gets
anything.
killed by an alien, he picks him up and he's just looking at him. He's like, bro, what's up? You shouldn't have looked for me. You should have kept on going.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
We know from this old lady hoarder game that you just pitched that cats are lethal and they can slit your throat. Like, why didn't he just fucking go attack the alien and kill it?
He didn't want to. He was so disinterested.
Yep. Fucking cats. Last one here. Miles Morales crossed with Destruction All-Stars.
Here's what we do, right? So you're playing Miles Morales.
How many frames
The
per second?
fantastic. Well, yeah, definitely 60 frames per second.
Okay.
It's fantastic. We're panning up from the bottom, the dark streets of New York. It's 60 frames. No, we're playing Miles Morales, right? We're up here. It's just the normal. It's Miles Morales. It's the normal game. And then on like 3rd Street at the bottom of the map, there's Destruction All Stars going on, and we just ignore that part of the game completely because the game sucks and Miles is so much better. So yeah, let's pretend that there's someone's having a demolition derby at the bottom of the map, and then you just play Miles Morales instead.
I want New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like Looney Tubes. Where
Okay.
it's like, Destruction All-Stars is kind of like off-brand, like pop star Twisted Metal. Where like none of these characters you give a shit about, but they're all their own heroes and you run
I'm
in
the
car.
rock star.
So I want like not Spider-Man, but like man covered in spiders.
Arachnid Kid.
Arachnid Kid, yes. I want all of them just fucking beating each other up all over New York City. And you gotta like hunt each other down and you swing, but instead of webs, it's like, I don't know, fucking grappling
Nylon ropes.
Or not, there you go, nylon ropes. They're all climbing. They're all people who love fucking rock climbing. And so they got all this climbing gear with them. And that's how
In
they
New
scale the
York.
buildings in New York City, yep. And they're just punching the shit out of each other. And they're all wearing unlicensed Spider-Man gear.
Yep. And there's a guy in a rabbit suit that's khaki colored that has all his teeth except for his front two. Yes. He's eating what was he eating?
He was eating a stalk of celery instead of a carrot.
Yeah, celery.
Yep.
What's up, guys? What's up, folks?
How are all of you people? Nurses, hello, nurses. Oh no, he does say hello, nurse. So we can't say that.
Yeah, I like this. The game is more. Well, I think my game would be a better game, but your game would be more interesting.
You're right, but yeah,
your game's more fun. That's for sure.
That's it for Game on Game Show, and that is it for our episode 224 of Respawn Aim Fire. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, you have homework. It's important that you do this homework. Go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. You can, for $1, you can join, become a patron. You can play with us on game nights each week. You can get really dope wallpapers. You can vote on which games we play for Barf. Speaking of, we just recorded Metroid Fusion's Barf right before this episode. So if you missed that live, catch that pre-recorded on demand sometime between now and the time that you hear this episode. So I don't even know why I'm calling that out because it's probably going to come out tomorrow. So go check that out and play Batman Arkham Asylum. Again, that game is on sale right now. The whole collection is $12 on PSN. It's also on sale on a bunch of other platforms as well. So go play that with us this month as well. And that... Oh, here's a new little thing to throw out there. Take this week, and I want you to really think deep and hard about what podcast platform you listen to us on, because we know most of you listen to us instead of watch us. I want you to think deep and hard about giving us a 5-star review on it.
Yes.
And then I want you to think deep and hard and say, if it isn't Apple Podcast that I listen to this on, don't worry about it.
Basically.
But if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, go rate us 5 stars. Because that's where literally like 99.7% of all of you listen to us on is Apple Podcasts. So just do that. Go 5 stars. And then if you're like feeling extra credit, just go to every other service and subscribe to us on YouTube and all that fun stuff. Do all of that.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll add in, if you don't give a 5-star review, I'm going to take 15 frames away from your favorite video game. Don't test me on this. Go give it a 5-star review. You can even say something mean in the 5-star review. It doesn't matter as long as it's 5 stars. I don't care.
Yeah.
I will take frames away from Batman Arkham City.
Animal Crossing, it's going to run like shit. Can't fucking wait.
It's going to be bad. Give me a 5-star review.
All right. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, here's our usual sign off. Don't forget to go check out Jeff Keighley in that Muppets movie coming out later this year.